All right, kicking off day 15 here. I've got Britt's help today, so the plan today is to get some exterior walls built. So that said, we're day after Easter, so I had the weekend, just an hour or two here and there to come out and prep for it. So long story short, I came through and I snapped my lines for where my exterior walls are going to land. Ran some strings and everything, so got a line here that runs all the way down. So my stud is actually going to be inset from the exterior of the wall. Reason for that is that I'm going to have OSB that sits on the outside of that wall, and then an inch of polyiso foam board, just to try to do better thermally, insulate it well, waterproof it well, just try to make it as tight and maintenance free as I can. So I came through, and no matter what with the nominal lumber, and it's imperfect. There's no other way to say it. So this line, even though my beams all lined up well, it still has some wave to it. I mean, it's not engineered lumber. There's not much, but there's an 1/8 of an inch here, 3/16 of an inch there. So I snapped that line because that way when I add on my 7/16 of OSB and my inch, even if my inch of polyiso board sticks out from that edge by an 1/8, it doesn't matter so long as it doesn't set in to where I would have a bow in the wall at all. This is my chance to make up any bow in the boards by knowing that I'd get my wall perfectly straight. So I got my chalk line on this side, I got my chalk line on that side. I made sure that they're running perfectly parallel by measuring across this distance and that distance. This front line is nice and straight already as well. So I was able to do a 3-foot, 4-foot, 5-foot triangle to nail square here. So I've got lines prepped here. I couldn't chalk line them just because it's frosty right now. So I was just worried that my chalk wouldn't work well. So I'll wait a little bit and I'll chalk line that. But beyond that, I don't think I've pulled it up at all, but when we were planning this build, I modeled the entire thing in SketchUp. So I've got every stud all spaced out where I need them. There's reasons for certain placements. All of them are 16 on center, but then anywhere that I had an intersecting interior wall, I put up a couple short studs just for drywall. On the other side, I've got windows going in over here, so I've got all my headers laid out and everything. Same thing on the other side. So I've got all of my stud placements prefigured. So with that in mind, I came through and I pre-marked all of my studs on the floor, knowing that I'll have a stud there, a stud there, a stud there, all of that. So when we go to build the walls here, we can literally just lay them out right on the floor, make sure that we line up our studs with that line, and we know we're perfect every time. So just to try to speed things up. So that's where we're at. I'm going to start cutting boards to height, get all of our vertical studs cut, because we are, I forget, I want to say we're like 13.5-foot studs because of the shorter knee walls on the loft, and I think we've got 9-foot main level ceiling. So I'm gonna start cutting, and by the time everybody gets down here, we should be good to start nailing together and standing this thing up. All right, I believe we're day 15 now. So long story short, the walls are taking a good bit longer than we expected to put up. We're probably 5 hours into what you see right now. Biggest reason is just that they're tall stinking walls. They're almost 14 foot tall. So we're having to put them up in sections instead of being able to do it as one big wall. We just can't keep them straight enough and strong enough to be able to stand them up as one piece. Unless we were to, put all this siding on and everything all in one before we stand it up, but that's just not feasible for us. So this is where we're at. So we got one side wall done. We're gonna try to maybe even just build 1 or 2 interior walls. Just enough to give it some strength, just enough for tonight. So tomorrow we'll maybe come close to getting the rest of them all up. Might be one more even, so we'll see. It's coming though. All right, here we are done with day 15. Again, it might not look like much, but the first big wall is done. We built out one interior wall just for side-to-side strength, just for the night. Again, took well longer than it should have, but just being tall walls are tough to manage, so it's good and level both ways. Good and plumb both ways. So we're happy with that. 2 sheets of OSB on real quick, just for quick side-to-side strength as well. So tomorrow we'll pick up and knock out the back wall first. These ones went up in mostly 8-foot sections. The back wall we'll probably do in 2 12-foots, because I think it's 24 foot even. So we'll probably do 2 12-footers there. And depending on how long that takes, now that we got a groove and know how we're doing it, we should get through that decently quick. But then we'll roll on to this side, and maybe there's a chance that we'll have the back and this side done by the end of tomorrow. But we've also got to get headers in. There was no headers, no windows or anything on, no windows or doors on that side, so it was an easy one. So there'll be more cuts just for doors and windows on these back two. So that's it. That's the status today. Again, slower than I wanted, but happy with the turnout.